Hi, my name is Xana, and you're watching The Music Enthusiast.
Hi, what's up? I'm Sarah from The Music Enthusiast, and today I'm here with Xana. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
So good. I'm super excited to be talking to you. I also love how your hair matches the couch.
Thank you. I planned it. I did this on purpose.
It like sort of blends in a
I
way.
know, hey, it's good I'm wearing something that's not green, or else I would just become a couch, I think.
Like a floating head, maybe.
Yeah. Who needs a green screen? Just get some green hair and a green couch. You're good to go.
So, like, the green hair, is that your first like hair color that you like experimented with?
No, I think I've dyed my hair like every color other than yellow, I think at this point. Blue was my favorite for the longest time, and I was going to dye my hair blue, and I was like, I'll do a little pit stop at green, and that was like 2 years ago, and I have no intention to change it. So this is my new favorite hair color.
When something sticks, it sticks.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
So, I mean, you are from Canada, so where are you right now?
I'm on Vancouver Island. I've like pretty much grown up here. I was born in the interior of BC. So yeah, I'm just on a little island.
I've honestly never been to Vancouver. The furthest I've been like in Canada was probably like Toronto. It's very
Yeah.
sad. But
Yeah.
like what's your most fondest musical memory?
Like ever?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard to. Well, I mean, my first concert ever, I think I was like 7 years old, and I went and saw Avril Lavigne in Vancouver, and it was like it was amazing. So that was like really, really fun for me. Definitely like a musical highlight. I don't know. I've seen so many good concerts and everything, and I've just started going back to shows now too. So I like feel that same kind of like fire in my chest that I haven't felt in years and years. So yeah.
What was the last show you saw?
Um, I was in New York recently, and I saw Girl in Red, and Holly Humberstone opened for her. And I saw Fletcher, and I saw Conan Gray, and like the openers for those shows too. And so it was like a lot of music all in like 1 week. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I came home and I saw Billie Eilish. So Billie Eilish is technically the last show that I've seen. It was amazing. I saw her in 2019 as well, before the pandemic. It was one of my last shows. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love her. She's so great. Her and her brother. Mwah.
Oh my god, no. Phineas is absolutely magic.
I
Like
love him.
but like Fletcher, her show got I think it was canceled here. But
Yeah.
supposed to come, I think maybe like 2 weeks ago. I saw Conan Gray. Who else did you mention? Girl in Red was sold out. So
Oh,
obviously didn't go.
yeah.
And yeah, Billie Eilish is postponed. I don't think I'm going because I don't have tickets and it's probably sold out. But
Right.
you
I
know,
know. I got last tickets super last minute. And Fletcher too. The show that I saw was the last one before like a bunch of her shows got canceled, and then now she just finished their tour. But it was such a good show. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
and what's the best show you've ever been to?
So hard to choose. I want to say like Maggie Rogers. I saw her, it may have been like 2018. But she was just like her energy and her vocals and like her whole performance was like amazing. But then also the last show I saw before the pandemic was Dermot Kennedy. And like, okay, I love him to bits. Like he's incredible. He's a genius, and his voice just gets me. But I was kind of like at the back of the stadium, and on the back of the floor, there was this couple that they were just like waltzing and like ballroom dancing the whole show. And at some point, somebody put a spotlight on them. So then they were just like twirling around, madly in love with a spotlight. And then Dermot Kennedy's singing, and I was just like, oh, like, it's just like one of those moments. It was like a good moment. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's insane. That sounds so magical.
Yeah, it was magic.
And I know your dad used to make you like used to burn mixtapes for you. So like what was your favorite song on any of those mixtapes?
I think like my first favorite song was Glycerin, and now I'm gonna forget the band name that sings that song. But I think that was like the pregnancy song. Like my parents listened to it when I was pregnant, and so, or when my mom was pregnant with me. And so when I was a baby, I would just like totally calm down whenever they would play it. I would like love to listen to it. And I loved just always was always asking them to put it on. So it was probably like my like favorite baby song. Baby song. But yeah, I don't know. The mix was crazy. Like I was a huge Avril Lavigne fan, but my dad also put like AC/DC on all the time, and like Eminem, and then like The Little Mermaid. And so it was just a little bit of everything. It was a bit of a shit show.
That sort of reminds me of B. Miller. I don't know if you know her, but I think like her dad or mom used to make mixtapes, and it would be like the same, like some rock and roll, some like folk,
Yeah.
and there's like the ABCs, and like just a
Yeah.
bit of everything to like get your mind experimenting.
Yeah. My mom would try to put on like actual kids music for me. And I was like, no, dad's music. Put on dad's music. Yeah.
Learning from a young age. I love
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of shows like how genre bending your music is. Like it's like rock and roll, and then there's like electro pop, like there's a bunch of everything.
Yeah.
So do you remember like what genre was like your first love? Was it rock?
Um, well, I always thought that I was going to just make like pop music, like on the radio, like top 40 pop music. Like I think that that's just always what I thought. But then when I started actually like recording, I definitely was way more into like the like rock and like kind of like grungier side of things, which makes sense because that is a lot of the music that I listen to until I was like maybe a teenager and I could like burn my own CDs or whatever, you know what I mean? But so it makes a lot of sense. And it definitely, yeah, I think that like rock and roll or like grunge, whatever Avril Lavigne is, like that was definitely like my first love. So it makes sense that I'm touching in on that more than top 40s pop.
And you are releasing your debut album, Tantrums, in like 4 days?
4 days. Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you nervous?
I'm like, I'm not like bad nervous, but I'm like butterflies, excited, nervous. And sometimes it doesn't feel real. And then other times it does. And I'm like, oh my God. But I don't know. I've been working on this album for, well, like we've been recording it for 2 years, but I've been writing it slowly since like 2018 or something. So it's just been like a long time. And there were times where it was supposed to come out and then it couldn't, and then it didn't, and then it will come out and then no. And so it's almost like, is it actually coming out in 4 days? I don't know. But I'm really, really excited. I just can't wait for everybody to hear it all.
Because people have only heard like 3 of the tracks on the record.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 9 more tracks unheard. So like how excited are you for everyone to listen to it?
I think like I'm really, really excited. And a lot of my fan base, they're like really smart and they're really cool because they kind of like pick up on little like references and lyrics, especially with like the videos that I do too. There's always little clues and little hints and like a storyline to follow. And so I'm really excited for them to have like the whole story, not just like pieces. I'm really excited to see like how they piece it all together and what they take away from it and how they interpret it. I think everybody will interpret it a little bit different and like as art should be naturally, but I'm just excited to see what they hear and what they think. And yeah.
Amazing. And with all the little Easter eggs, like do you sometimes get that like that comment where you're like, oh, I didn't plan that, but that's super smart. Like, does that ever happen?
I think that there may have been a couple times where I've been like, yeah, like people will theorize something and I'll be like, that has nothing to do with me. But I mean, if it works, it works. You know what I mean? Like you go for it. So that's always like really fun to see too, just like how, what kind of rabbit holes they'll go down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched your teaser trailer for this album and it is fantastic. It's like uneasy and then it's like thrilling and then it's like beautiful all at once, and then the ending is just like right to the point. That is amazing. Are those like song lyrics or is that a quote that you made up?
I wanted to make a album trailer, but I didn't want it to be a song off the album, but I still wanted to like say something to connect it all and just kind of like introduce it to people and be like, hey, this is kind of like the world we're about to take a step into. And so I just wrote it kind of as like a poem or a monologue, whatever you want to call it. I just kind of wrote it like that. And then we went in and recorded it, and then my producers and I just like added like really weird sounds. There's some samples from songs in the album like sprinkled throughout there. And then at the very, very end, there's a little snippet of the acapellas from each song. So you get just like a couple words, but it's like really, I like it because it sounds like you're flipping through like radio stations. You're like you're sifting through the stations. You just get snippets of these little songs. So some of the lyrics in that poem, they do reference the music. So it like, yeah.
Amazing. So what was the hardest track to make off of this record, whether it was like mentally hard or just like it took such a long time?
I think Love Like This stumped us a little bit at the beginning. Like I feel like we started it a few different times before we really like figured out how it was supposed to sound and where we wanted it to go. At the same time, like in the same session, we were working on another song. I think it was Cupid, and that one was flowing like really easily, and it was like a magical experience. So I think it was kind of extra frustrating going from one song that was like so easy and like just like was happening so quickly, and then we'd shift gears to this other song and be like, what do we do now? So but once we figured out and got into the flow, it came like really well after that. It just took a couple extra days to get into it.
I cannot wait to listen to this album. It's gonna be super, super incredible. So, do you have any last comments to anyone listening, whether it's like a little self promo or like whatever?
Well, yeah, you can follow me on like all social media platforms. No, but I'm really excited for everyone to hear this album. It's super confessional. It's basically my diary, so I hope it is met with a lot of love and compassion. Um, but yeah, my favorite songs right now are the first and last ones. So go listen to those ones and let me know what you think.
Amazing. And very last question for you is who are your favorite artists right now?
Oh, probably the ones I talked about earlier, like Gracie Abrams. I'm obsessed with her right now. She's like, oh, she kills me. I really, really want to see her live one day. Fletcher, love to bits. Love her even more after I've seen her live. And who else? Taylor Swift is like, ever since Taylor Swift got me songwriting when I was like in middle school. So yeah, there. That's what I'll say.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again. It was so much fun, and I cannot wait for this album to be released.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.